Hey there, hey, my name is Matt Potratz, and my wife and I own the company on the wall behind me here, Unconfined Family Asset Protection, and we specialize in helping families grow their assets, protect their assets, and ultimately to pass their assets on to the next generation in form of generational wealth. And so we have a passion for what we do. We love it. We're very creative. We're very knowledgeable. We're also very caring. We want to be what's best for your family at all times. And so we never suggest something that won't be best for your family in the long term. We never suggest something that we personally wouldn't do for our own family. And so yeah, I think that's huge. Is I would never expect you to do something I wouldn't do. And so my goal is to make you successful, not make me successful, to make your family have generational wealth, not worry about my own generational wealth. That all comes with the territory. And so I appreciate you taking the time to tune in. One of the things I want to talk about today is that I kind of mentioned a minute ago that we're very creative in how we do things. Always look for creative ways to access money for your wealth and for your retirement, especially. And so it's not just the traditional ways of doing things. We look for what other ways are available or out there that we can find money that we can plug in and put to work for you to build an asset. And so today I want to talk about something called the home equity agreement. Now, a home equity agreement is not a home equity loan. There's no loan, there's no payments, there's no interest. It's not a loan. You don't pay it back. A home equity agreement is not a reverse mortgage. It's not the same thing. It's similar, but it's not the same thing. Home equity agreement is just what it says. It's an agreement that you'll take, say, 20% of your equity now in cash. With agreement, you'll pay back, just say like 26% of your equity in 10, 12, 30, 15, or 30 years down the road, right? You go as far as 30 years out if you want to. And at that point in time, of course, you'll pay a little higher percentage back, but you get all of it in cash now to be used as you please for what you need to use it for, and you pay no payments, no interest, no nothing. It's just an agreement. It's a contract agreement. It's pretty cool. What I recommend, of course, doing is not spending that in cash, because you just spent one of your best assets in cash and got rid of it. I recommend you invest that investment, because that way you're investing your largest asset, which is your home. Most people, their property is their largest asset, but for the most part, that asset is kind of dead unless you sell a home or pass it on to the next generation, right? It is essentially a dead asset, but you can use it while you're living for retirement, while still living in the home, not making any payments. You don't even know anything has changed. You can't tell the difference. You just continue to live in the home with agreement that when you die or when you sell the home or when you refinance the home, you'll pay back that extra little percentage of the equity then. So it's just a home equity sharing agreement, and you can utilize it to your advantage. It's huge. You like I said, you can use that asset that would normally not be liquid because it's locked up in your home. You can use it like a liquid asset to be used for retirement investments, and even pass on to the next generation as well. So let's dive in on to show you how it works. So again, let's just say, kind of hypothetically saying, right? Let's just say that you have $500,000 in equity. Either you own your home outright, or $500,000 home, or you have $500,000 in equity in your home. And let's say that you decide to take 20% of the equity. So 20% of 500 grand is 100 grand, right? So you take 100 grand out, you get it in cash to be used as you please. So in this situation, I'm going to show you where you can plug that in a safe place that isn't subject to the market. You don't want that thing tied up in a bunch of risky, volatile assets, because you don't want to lose the money you just took out of your home, right? You want to make sure that it's safe no matter what. So I want to make sure that my principal amount is safe. I can gain, but I can't lose. So I'm going to show you an annuity, and we're looking at a fixed index annuity, because you can do better with those. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. So this one I'm just showing you for today for hypotheticals is the F&G annuity. It's F&G Power Accumulator. Now, we may or may not go with that. It depends on what annuity is performing the best at the time we meet together. I have access to multiple different annuities out there to make sure that I get the best situation for my client. I'm a broker, not just an agent with one company, and so I'm not captive to one company. And so F&G, though, is Fidelity and Guaranty. They've been around for 40 years, they have very much so, have healthy assets. They have a lot of assets in the market. They have a lot of contracts out there. They're very, very good with their money. They're A-rated by all the big rating institutions, which is A-rating means not customer service. It means financial stability and responsibility with your money. So they're A-rated by all the major institutions that rate them, and they're a great company. I've used them for a lot of things. I have a lot of my own personal assets with them for retirement. So F&G Power Accumulator 7, which means it's a 7-year annuity, which means in the first 7 years, there are surrender charges that taper off as the 7 years goes on. But again, we're looking at retirement here. We're looking at building up an asset. It'll take out of sight, out of mind, just leaving it. Let it do its things. Now, fixed index means it's fixed, so it can't lose, but it's indexed to a stock market index, which in this case, I'm using the S&P 500, the 500 most common stocks in the American stock market. So if everyone's familiar with that. And then we're going to put it out 7 years before we do anything with it, and then utilize it for income. So we're going to let it grow for the next 7 years. So I'm just, my hypothetical illustration here, I'm going to go ahead and make myself a little tool here so I can draw a circle around stuff. So my illustration here is showing Tess Testerson is the guy's name, right? Tess Testerson is age 60. So he's paid off his home, he's age 60, but he wants to start using his home as a retirement asset. And it's prepared by me, of course, here. And we're going to leave it for 7 years, let it grow, and then we're going to use it for income. So when he's 67, he can start using this thing for income in addition to any other retirement asset Tess has got out there, in addition to any other Social Security he gets from the government. So it's pretty cool. Now I'll go over this more in detail with you. We decided to go for this. I'm just going to go through it pretty fast right now. Right now I've got the assets for this illustration are in the Ballast Asset 5 index, which is a very, very volatility control, very, very consistent index. It does really well. It's got 170% participation rate right now. So 170% of what the index does, you get to credit to your account. And then I've got the other half of it also in the BlackRock Market Advantage Index as well. So it pays 135% right now of what the index does. Again, we'll talk about this more in detail. I just want to kind of show you how I've got this set up right now, just for the sake of this illustration. So I can choose my indexing every single year on the policy anniversary date. I get to choose between all these indexes here, and I can change up my indexing every year on the policy anniversary date, depending on how well that index is performing. And I'll help you with the index changes because I got my own assets invested in these, and so I know how they're performing. I'll keep an eye on things, obviously, because I obviously want my own index or want my own assets to perform quite well. So I'm going to help you make your indexes, make you be in the right index to make your assets perform quite well. So again, we'll go over this more detail if we decide to go for it. Just a hypothetical illustration today to show you this works. So I'm figuring, again, $100,000, right? And a non-qualified because they're not pre-tax dollars or post-tax dollars. So you've already paid tax on the 100 grand, so you're not going to get taxed anymore on that. You only get taxed on the gains, and you don't get taxed until the annuity starts paying you. You don't get taxed on anything up each month, each year. You don't get taxed. You get taxed on each payment that goes out of the annuity later as you use it for retirement. So it is a tax deferred situation. So this is based on guaranteed rates. They have to show this to you, and we'll go this more in detail. But guaranteed rates means the index does nothing. So the index does nothing, 0% every single year. That particular index we put it in does nothing. Your money's still safe. I mean, it's going to pay out in your payments later, but you're still going to get $98,000 paid out in payments, even if the index does nothing, and you still got $6,730 left in the annuity. So again, I breeze over this pretty quick because the index is not going to go 0% every year, year over year, every year over year. If it does, we got bigger problems than just this, right? So scrolling down here, this next one is based on current rates, okay? The current rates, what that means is that it's based upon what that index group, my mouse is going dead on me. There we go, got my mouse working again now. So what I mean by current rates is that it's the current rates as in the last 10 years of the market of this particular index applied to the next 10 years, and the next 10 years, the next 10 years. So they take an actual 10 years of the index, looking at what it created, and apply to that. Now, if you go down here to below, I'll show this real quick. What I'm going to show you is the most recent 10-year period, right? From 12/31/2015 to 12/31/2025. And that's at 6.48%, okay? The least favorable of this index, the least favorable 10 years, is 6.21. The most favorable is 10.96. So it could be better than 6.48. So we're not illustrating some lofty figure out there somewhere that's never going to happen, right? It's going to be pretty realistic. It's closer to the bottom than it is to the top. So going back up here now. So again, on guaranteed current rates, here is your account value interest crediting right here. The last, look at, they're applying it each year, the same as it was the last 10 years, as if it's going to repeat itself again. Okay. Now notice there's a 0% here. That's where annuities are special. That means the market lost in this year. Okay. So you didn't lose, or you wouldn't have lost because you're an annuity. You made nothing, you gained nothing, you had a 0% year, but you lost nothing because annuities are not an investment product. They're an insurance product. So they have to keep a certain amount of money in the account at all times, a high percentage of money, as a matter of fact, to pay this death benefit over here. So they can't invest all in the market, can't put it all at risk. They have to keep, so let's just say they take 95% of that, they keep in an account in your name to ready to pay that benefit if something happens. 5% they invest in stock options, call options. They know which ones to buy because they're very savvy. They buy the best stock options to leverage their own money to make you the benefit, or to leverage your money and their money to make you the gains in the market and credit the interest. So a majority of your money is not tied up in the market, and the money they leave behind here, the 95% they leave in here, they put that in guaranteed bonds, making back the 5% they took out, which of course leaves you at a wash. That's why you lose nothing, 0%. If you look at the next year, you get to rebound back big off the not off your loss because you didn't lose. Everyone else rebounding back off the loss, you're rebounding back off your principal. So it's pretty sweet. And then you get to bounce back big off your principal, not off your loss. And then going down how this looks here. So again, put 100 grand in the very beginning, right? And let it go to work for you. Then your surrender value the next year is 118 grand. Same as your death benefit here, 128 grand right here. If something happens, your loved ones immediately get passed on the money. And again, this came out of your mortgage. You're not paying payments on this. It's not costing you a dime to have it. You're still living in the house, still living payment free, still living as if you own the house. Well, you do still own the house outright, right? Still as if you never took out the home equity agreement in the first place, and you're just leveraging the money. So if you keep on going down the line here, by the time you've been in this thing till age 67 till retirement, now you've got $172,000 surrender value, $178,000 to use as income, and you start taking income. I figured instead of taking a lifetime income, which is what annuities are known for, I figured on taking the most amount of income I can get out of this thing for the prime years of retirement. So from 67 until 85. Look at taking $15,000 a year out of this thing from 67 until 85, because that's kind of the prime years of retirement when you're going on maybe more trips. You want to go see your kids and do fun stuff. When you get 85, you still got have Social Security coming in, still got other retirement assets coming in. You're probably not going to be as active on the go, so you're not going to need as much money. So I'm looking at just maximizing the amount per year I can get during my prime years. Keep in mind, guys, this is only off 100 grand. Already at age 80, this thing has paid me 195 grand off of 100 grand. So I've already almost doubled my money. And if I let it pay to 85, this thing paid me 270 grand off of my original 100 grand. And it's money that was what would otherwise have been in my house. I mean, I would have been locked up in my home. 100 grand. Paid me 270 grand for retirement. Boom, right? And I still got 13 grand left over at the end when it's all said and done. Now, you could continue to take a little income out of this. If the market does really well and you have more money here, you keep taking. It's your money, do what you please with, right? You're only tied up for the first 7 years. And if you can surrender before then, right? It's just going to have a surrender charge involved, right? So if you surrender after, there's no surrender charges, it's your money. You're just going to get all the gains, get to keep it all. But if you put it to work paying income, which was annuities are designed to do, you're actually going to pay out a lot more than what you would if you took a lump sum cash. Because right here, if you took this as a lump sum cash, you're only going to get 172 grand in the beginning, right here. Whereas if you let it pay out, it's going to pay you 270 grand, right? So there's quite a difference if you let it maximize, let it do its thing. So again, this is just a creative way to access money that's already yours. I'm going to go ahead and unshare so you can see me again here. So again, there we go. It's money that's already yours. You paid your house off. You worked your butt off to get paid off, and most people paid off, so there's not a mortgage payment involved. not thinking about the fact that there's still an asset there. It's still an asset I can use. I use it with a home equity agreement, not a home equity loan, because I'm not paying loan payments or interest, or there's not any kind of obligation involved there, right? Except for to pay back that agreed percent down the road. And if it's probably, this really does need to be for your forever home, right? It's gonna not make sense if you're gonna move in 5 years. But if you're in for your forever home, you're in retirement, you're starting to build an asset up, you're starting to build hopefully a better retirement situation for you and your family, this is for you. This really makes a lot of sense. It allows you to leverage your biggest asset, your real estate, and use it for retirement income. And down the road, if you pass away, whatever balance is left in the annuity pays to your kids, but also they still get the home. They still get to inherit the home. They just gonna have to refinance it or sell it and pay off the home equity agreement, but can then keep the rest. And home equity agreements are typically only about 35 to 40% of the home value. So you're not looking at all the value by any means. You have to use a majority of, or a big portion of it while you're alive for retirement, but then still leave a larger portion of it for your kids to take, plus whatever's left in the annuity goes to your kids as well. So pretty sweet way to do it, guys. It really is a great way to leverage this. I encourage you to take a look at this, see if it's something for you. If it's not for you, I understand, but I'd highly recommend leveraging every bit of your assets and getting creative and finding ways to access your money and put it to work for you and your family to give you some income while you're still alive, but also leave generational wealth for your family when you leave. So we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Reach out to me, call me, text me. When I put my number on the screen here, is 208-791-7230 is my text number directly, my phone number directly, and my business card will be on the screen at the end of this video as well. Reach out, let's connect, let's find ways to get creative and make your retirement the best that possibly can be. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.